G'day trendsetters, and welcome to the 2024 Made Show here in Portland, Oregon. Let's get cracking.
Gravel, I think, is getting to some really fast, big tyres with drop the post. It just improves the handling. So that's the trend that makes a big difference. It's going to probably change gravel like it did mountain bike.
I think the one that has most caught me by surprise is suspension on gravel bikes. I think there's a lot of controversy around it, and yes, gravel bikes are getting closer and closer to the cross-country mountain bikes that we raced 20 years ago, but who cares? What I found, suspension on the gravel bike, it's fast, it's super fun, it lets me go deeper in more aggressive terrain, and it's been really surprisingly awesome to ride.
I'm going to go with 3D printing. It just opens up so many possibilities. For example, our titanium 3D printed dropouts, which are transmission compatible, so direct mount derailleur or SRAM UDH setup, as you see here, as well as our chainstay yokes.
I think it has to be 3D printing. Like, it just opens up a whole new avenue of design and functionality for us to sort of, I don't know, modernize our bikes and compete on a different level with the carbon builders.
As a machinist, I really appreciate what Cal Poly is doing. Their cargo bike with the front hub steering is pretty innovative. The fact that they machined all that out there, it's impressive.
SRAM UDH dropouts, especially if you're running disc brakes, having through axles, it's a great setup.
I'm Walter Wheatfall with Wheatfall Cycles, tubeless.
I think one of the coolest things, not related to wheels at all, which is what I do, hunt bike wheels, but integrated cable and hose routing headsets. Not specifically this one. This one is cool, but it's a pain in the butt to route and work on. So the ones that pop out right here, and they duck in right there, through the headset, down past the steer tube, those are clean. Those are amazing.
Changing stems super easy.
Super easy.
Hi, I'm Chris Chance with Fat Chance Bikes. Check out electronic shifting.
Electronic shifting, the ability to change from a single speed to a geared system at one race is pretty rad.
I just love more gears with the one-by shifting. Get rid of the front derailleur, but have more gear range with the one-by setup.
I'm going to give a shout out to my friends over at Silca. I think what they're doing with the chain waxing system and the new chips you can put in it, I got the whole pitch on that yesterday, and I got to say, I'm intrigued.
The Partington wheels and their crazy U-shaped spokes and carbon hubs and carbon everything.
I would probably say over the last 10 years, the most innovative technology that's come through the industry has been electronic shifting.
Probably the jump in one by from like 11 to 12 was important, but I think from 12 to 13, we're starting to get into a place where one by makes a ton of sense. There's not a lot of spread. You can run a really small cog on a compact system so that you're not feeling the difference, and there's not a penalty now in running a one by.
For me, I think the evolution of or basically the market heading towards bigger tires is definitely amazing to see it. We've been working on that for a lot of years now, and it's just so good to see people riding bikes that basically ride better because they have more volume, more tire. It's just, they allow more versatility, more comfort, longer distance. So I think that's been something that's pretty nice to see developing as we started doing it a lot of years ago, and now it's kind of a standard. Like a road bike that doesn't fit 30 or 32s is kind of not up to the standards today.
I can say one thing that's made my life a lot easier is the wireless shifting. So like on the time trial bike, they're going to have these two little independent wireless buttons, no wires, no box needs to be anywhere, no wires have to run through the frame, one in the derailleur. Fabulous.
The 1988 Kestrel 4000, because aero tubing.
So I think one of the most interesting things recently with cycling is the power of the group ride. There's just so many different types of rides that connect so many different types of people. It's connected me to a lot of people both in and outside of cycling. And it's also just a great way to get, our brand across and stuff like that. So it's just, I think it's been really innovative so far for community building.
Dude, you're a genius. That's the most interesting answer so far.
Hate to say it, but got to go with e-bikes. That's been the big one. Closer to our heart, though, track lacrosse. Fixed gear, off-road cycling, it's coming back. second World Championships just happened in June of this year, and next year in Spain for number 3.
The things that's most interesting to me, I build steel bikes, but one of the things that I really like is the new fusion fiber technology. So recyclable carbon, I think, is a big deal. And so Forge and Bond Wheels has really come out with this idea of, a new way to make carbon rims. They're expanding into other products as well, to where the carbon doesn't get thrown away at the end, it gets recycled. They're also making Chris King's wheels, I believe, which I'm also using on these bikes. So I'm a big fan of fusion fiber.
I gotta say, I think one of the coolest things I've seen recently is the fact that people are kind of gravitating towards, I guess we'll call it underbiking. You go out onto a trail system now and you'll see like drop bar bikes with skinny tires instead of like full sus bikes. And people like seem to have bigger smiles on their faces. Maybe it's because they're having to like be more engaged with their bike a little bit, just having more fun. I think it's super cool.
Maybe not an innovation, but something that I've seen circulate back around. And I obviously have a biased point of view on this, but metal bikes, all types. Tie, steel, alloy, aluminum, they're starting to make a resurgence. I think the composite industry is not for everybody. People are finding value in metal bikes and enjoying the uniquenesses of what a frame builder can do for them in different platforms, from road, gravel, mountain, and there's just more and more metal bikes available these days than it seemed like there was 10 years ago.
Disc brakes. Using disc brakes instead of rim brakes, we unlocked tire sizes and wheel sizes. That's why we're all running wider tires now. It's because of disc brakes.
I think that clipless pedals have been the best upgrade.
I think single-speed mountain bikes and single-speed cyclocross bikes is a great idea. And it took a while for it to catch on. It was a hard sell at first, but now there are great numbers of people who ride both. And it's kind of a rejection of technology and expense and complication. A simple bike that you just do your best with what you have. And I think it's really earthy, and I think its time was a long time coming. And myself and some other builders really pushed for it. And now it's like a whole culture of itself.
So super simple idea for me is, since I just built this full suspension mountain bike, and it's the simplest probably suspension design out there. It's called a single pivot, and I've been riding this now for about a month, and it's rides really well to me. Yeah, and I don't know why it can, some suspension out there is so crazy, and it's like lots of linkages, lots of bearings, and to me, this ride's actually pretty good and as a single pivot.
I think the thing that's the biggest game changer, especially in bicycle frame building, is 3D printing of parts. These are some Reynolds 3D printed dropouts, and what's amazing about the way of manufacturing product like this is you can make things that you can only dream of fabricating, and there's no other way to be able to manufacture it. This is a good example of that. This is a rear dropout, left-hand side, has a flat mount on it, has got all of the argon ports already printed into it, so, and your very accurate 12 mil axle notch to be able to hold your wheel. This is an absolute game changer for a number of reasons. One, I can use this and it saves me about 4 operations in putting my bike together, so it saves me money making it, but it also puts it together in a light package and with a unique look. So I'm really happy to be able to go through and use these pieces. The other thing is you can put features in here that you can't see. So this has actually got a port that you drill out on the top to be able to run a Di2 wire through. If you run an AX setup or a cable setup, you leave it covered. And then there's a mudguard, actually a tap tube that's right here that goes inside, that you go through and drill the end of it out, run a tap through it, and you've got a mudguard mount in a really, really hidden spot. So I think fabulous features, very lightweight, super durable, amazing game changer.
I would say geometry. Like when mountain biking, when I got into this in '94, like the geometries of bikes were it's all we knew. But like as stem length, think of like 140 stems were on almost every bike, and now I haven't built a bike with something with over 70 in ages.
I think we got to go back to the original. So this was BSA English studded bottom brackets. I think were the simple way to go. External bottom brackets. We make a ton of different bottom brackets to match all the standards over here. We got them in every different color, but I'd have to say the simplest, easiest, and most efficient is these BSA bottom brackets right here.
I think being able to camp on your bike, so gravel/camping bike, is just game changing.
I think for me, carbon rims are the biggest game changer. I've never been a big fan of carbon. I was a late convert, but the first time I put carbon carbon wheels on a bike of mine, it made me feel fast, and they're super durable, really nice. I've beat the crap out of mine, and they're straight as an arrow.